And here we are once again, my friends, on the twitch.tv / the Xisuma doing the live stream. The liggity live stream. Oh god, it's live stream time. It's already the next thing. I've been so busy. I am so exhausted. Oh my goodness me. Bananas in chat, May School, Lucro, Becca, Spokey Dokie, the Redstone Gamer. It's like time for me. May School says I didn't forget the YouTube video. Thank goodness. Thank goodness I didn't forget. It's time for me to just go into live stream mode, okay? I don't even know what's been happening. I'm frazzled. I'm frizzle-frazzled. Got too much on my plate again. Now, I had the day off, half a day off yesterday. Most of the day off. 3/4 of a day off. Went to London. Had a good time. Had a great time. Ate some good food. And, God, I spent so much time walking on my feet. And then today I was just absolutely, ugh, when I woke up. I woke up in the middle of the night with a upset stomach, actually. I almost felt like throwing up. So, like, my energy's just been zapped today. And, I'm letting it all off my chest. As I do when we stream. Hey, we got May School, the one, the only, 86 months, EvilX in the chat. Thank you for all you do, my dude. Appreciate it. We also got the Redstone Gamer here for 2 months in a row saying, hey, X, you inspired me to build a Hogwarts-inspired nether base. That sounds super cool. That sounds really awesome. We also have 2 new patrons signing up who will be able to play on the Let's Play Minecraft Together server, which it seems is just growing and growing. Every stream I do, we've got new peeps signing up. If you do want to sign up, you can go to xisumavoid.com/get-whitelisted. And if you sign up via Patreon, you do have to wait to the end of the month. There are some other options for instantaneous access. F Lux, thank you for your pledge. And Creepy Creeper 76. Greatly appreciated. I hope you enjoy playing on our server with our wonderful community. And I am hoping to get on there and do a stream myself at some point. I don't even know when I'm going to next be able to stream. I've just got like a chock-a-block schedule at the moment. And I did make some notes for what we need to do in today's stream. So we're going to start with something simple, and then we're going to do some digging underground. Oh, digging. Oh, you never know what you're going to get when you tune in, do you? It's Minecraft, but you didn't think I'd be digging. Okay. I have junk on me. I have junk in the trunk. And I should probably put the valuable stuff away, though, right? I think that this is a useful block, the beacon, so it will go in there. Something like that. T Dux says heyo. Sorry, he says hello. Joined your server last week. It's a really welcoming community for sure. Wonderful. I hear a lot of that, and it always puts a smile on my face. That's great. Butter process digging? Question marks. Yeah, I know, right? God, digging on a Minecraft stream. What's that about, eh? So I have a portal. I'll tell you what, I'm going to build like a bridge, a tunnel over to this. Oh no, go away. To this spot over here. The thing is, I'm kind of using the rockets a lot. Anyway, it kind of looks like if I just branch out. No! No! Alright, it's all over. It's all over now. If I branch out just about here, we should get to where we want to go. So I'm just going to go with a nice little 3-wide tunnel. And, you know, we'll stare deaf in the space as we look down into the basalt deltas. Toomey IG, thank you for your Prime subscription, my dude. Greatly appreciated, and hope you're enjoying the stream that we are doing. The thumbnail on YouTube is funny, says me R. Yeah, I just picked out an old school fan art. Very old school, actually. That one's probably like 9 or 8 years old. If you're going to mine, are you going to craft too? I can't believe you would dare do that in Minecraft, says Argon. I mean, I wonder if we make it through the live stream without crafting an item, right? That could actually happen. I don't think you can get through a Minecraft stream without mining, but you might be able to get without crafting. Maybe I'm just too optimistic, you know? Oof. Feels good to sit down and just chill out for a moment here. Been a bit of a chock-a-block day, as I mentioned. Tentacle Jelly, thank you ever so much for 5 months. Ren's Cold Sun, thank you for 27. Greatly appreciated. I've been in a little bit of discomfort all day. I've had like acid reflux and just my stomach just won't settle. It's really quite annoying. I've had some antacids and I haven't had any tea. I might have one after. I feel like tea might aggravate it, you know. But yeah, I've been working on a project. I've been putting my time into something that I really feel like could be the beginning of a new chapter for me. And I'm thinking with a lot of positivity about it. And, you know, the thing with positivity is that you can cause it to manifest with a good attitude. You think the right things, you do the right things. Something like that. I could also be overly optimistic about something that might not play out the way I would like to see it play out. But it's actually something that I talked about on the Xisuma Says channel a while back. I'm not going to say what it is because some things take a long time to like pan out and get to the end. And things have just geared up recently. And now, you know, it's about taking the journey to the end. And I'm really excited about it, but I don't want to talk about it. I kind of want to do everything and then show you the end result. So just know that my time is going into something a little different at the moment, and one day I'll be able to tell you exactly what that is and how much fun I had doing it, because I've had fun so far. Y'all can guess all you like in the chat. I see you making guesses. I'm not going to tell you what it is just because I feel like it will drag me into like talking about it, and I kind of want this thing to be there before I start telling everyone about it. So, you know, in one day in the future you'll know. But it might lead on to other things as well. So I don't know, I just feel like this might be the beginning of something a little different, you know. The very early beginning of a new adventure. So that's been taking up a bit of my time. And Hermitcraft, as always, takes up lots of time too, right? Excuse me. You're going to hear me burp like that, like mouth burp, a lot. I'm just the acid reflex thing at the moment. It's just like every couple of minutes I get one. But I had some good food yesterday. We went to an Italian place, and I didn't go for pizza. I usually go for pizza, right? I was like, I never actually go for the pasta. I generally don't have pasta and bread and whatnot in my diet, like my regular diet. And I gotta say, when you have that lighter, like at a restaurant pizza, it's quite different from a takeaway, like a dirty takeaway pizza, you know. I think I might like the dirty takeaway pizza a little bit more. But anyway, the pasta I had was great, but I generally avoid that. And then I had a sandwich at the train station in the evening as well. So it may have just been the fact that I just ate stuff I completely don't normally do. It kind of threw me off my game a little bit. But yeah, just, oh, the stomach's just been reflexing all day. Sniper 1974, 73 months. Thank you so much, my dude. It's good to see these names that have been around for so long. Hi, X, how are you? I'm terrific. I'm actually stoked to be streaming, I think. It's just every day, one thing after another. Get that job done, get this thing done, sort that thing out. And then, sit down and stream. Pizza is bread with condiments, says Mind Steph. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, right? Like, pizza isn't, like, the two foods I generally avoid are bread, i.e. pizza, and pasta. I'll choose rice over pasta. But, you know, on occasion you're eating out. Who doesn't love pasta? Maybe it messed with me, I don't know. We also ordered a antipesto starter thing, and it was massive. It was massive. I was expecting like a small little dish of delicacies, but no, it was a ginormous plate, so I absolutely filled my belly. Absolutely filled my belly something. I always think of pizza as an open sandwich, says Glitchy Beans. Have you tried a calzone? Is a calzone just a sandwich? I love how British people pronounce pasta. I can get water. You got a bottle of water, mate? You know, I can get that, but pasta? I mean, how else do you say pasta? A hot sandwich is Curls of Doom, yeah. It is pretty much a hot sandwich. Hey, we got more noises in the ear rolling in here. We got Super Fly Sam 14 with the Prime. Thank you so much, my dude, for using the Prime on me. We got Rodal Poses also with the Prime for 2 months, and 15.5 is here for 8 months saying, hey X, is salad a cereal or a soup? I actually, like, the joke for me is like, is Rocky Road a salad, right? Cereal is like wheaty, cereals, right? Like, and milk. And soup would be, you know, hot water mixed with flavoring like stock and vegetables, often, you know, mixed down. What am I trying to think of? Blended. So, like, if salad is one of those, I'd say it's more like a soup without the water. But the joke that I see is that, like, Rocky Road is a salad, right? Because salad's just like a collection of different foods. If you wanna get like that with it. So yeah, we've got a little bit of a temporary network to get over here now. That's terrific. I want to make this safe by blocking off the... Oh, look at that. That's not safe. Not safe. So yeah, we got an additional way over here. I think I'm going to just go back, extend the roof a little bit, and then we'll crack on with the next part of what we're doing today. As Think 76, thank you for your 23 months. Judge Xeros, thank you for 4. Greatly appreciated. Lunaris 05, thank you for 11, and your failsafe is here with a Prime. Thank you for being my failsafe. I didn't know that I needed one. Right, this is kind of why we want a little bit of a roof just here, because those things will jump on us. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm not going to do... No! Don't even! You're dead. That's what you get. Ollie the Hoodie Boy says, I miss sitting back and listening to your streams. Well, glad to have you with us today, my friend. Today's going to be chill. I can feel it. I just need to relax, you know, and vibe, as they say. As those young'uns say. Zucchini Box says, hey X, do you like Indian food? I'm sure I've seen you here before, and I'm sure that means you know the answer to that question. Right, we're going to trigger the old coordinate hub, because I got some coordinates that I need to dig to, of all things. Where I put away that iron ingot earlier, didn't I? I could have used that. I could have thought ahead. I could have gone, oh, I'll need an iron ingot soon. No. I didn't even think. I didn't even consider. Also, I've got, like, the sword on me, which, you know, belongs in here, really. Okie dokie, we would like haste numero turo. Actually, now I think about it, like, I can't instant mine down at this level, so it might not be the most useful thing ever. Anyway, when I'm down in this area, I do have, like... I did have a staircase? I thought I had a staircase. I have a staircase down, right, but not up. So I think what we'll do is we'll start off by getting up to the right height, which... Let me double check. It might actually be down, yeah. Things are always back to front. We actually want to go down. Do you like Greek food? Says Ike Fungus. I do, I do. You know, I kind of like a little bit of everything, me. So down at this level is more on par with where we need to go. This is the direction. And both sets of coordinates are more in that direction. So what I'll do is avoid the skeleton farm for now. I'm also going to need some torches down here, aren't I? Otherwise things will spawn. And I'll go, no. Stop spawning. Right, let's put these back in. Also, I can't see chat because I've got my notes up. Have you seen the video where someone actually found a way to instant mine deep slate? I haven't. Is that a survival, completely vanilla survival way? Because, you know, we could probably like put haste 4 on or something silly like that. And apparently it's only on bedrock, right? As a sort of non-bedrock player here on Hermitcraft, it's not particularly helpful, I guess. Oh, I can insta-mine a little bit of something. A little bit of the tough. Not that tough if I can insta-mine it, right? Have you ever eaten cooked bugs? Says Crussity Boy. I have not. I would give it a try, but I would have some prejudice there. It would be hard to overcome, but you know, give anything a go. Have you had Canadian food or therefore lack of? No, I'm talking about going on holiday to Canada at some point in the future, in which case I would really like to try. I mean, I'm just down with, like, you know, anything really. What data plaque / mod do you guys use to dispense on jukeboxes? It isn't on the Hermitcraft website. It was linked in the description box of that episode. I guess putting a page on the website would be a pretty... Hey, look at that! A pretty good idea. Let's pick those up. Put down a torch. Yeah, putting them on the website would not be a bad idea, but you'd have to talk to Hypno about that. Wow, we're out of the range of the haste beacon, so that was totally pointless. I knew this stuff was far away, but dang. What qualifies as Canadian food? As a Canadian, I'd love to know. Things like elk meat, and I think certain types of fish. Alright, here we go. This is what we're here for.
And long ago in the hidden kingdom.
This one, that's quite thick. Oh, I guess it sort of depends on the angle you arrive at. So yeah, what I need to gather from here... and I don't have the instant mine, but I can instant mine this stuff. What I need to gather from here is actually just the crystal stuff, so that I can make some tinted glass. I need a bunch of that. But this is in my base area, right? We're actually in my base right now. And I'm still working on the entrance, and the entrance is going to take me a long time. Although I will say, after a little bit of grinding the other day, I got it to a point where I'm like, I'm probably at least halfway ready to show, so it might not be too long. Okay, we are picking up all these blocks. Good, good. So yeah, I'm here to get some tinted glass for now, but then eventually this will be like a proper farm area. And guess what? 1.19, the LA. If you saw my best use for the LA video, you know what I'm going to do here. We're going to put the LA to work in this area. I'll also collect the calcite, which is not part of my build palette, I guess. It's weird. My base is not really going to have a build palette until I'm in it making it happen. It's going to be a very different concept. You'll see it all soon. God, I have to keep talking in riddles, don't I? Because I keep everything close to my chest. I've got like these ideas, and I'm like, right, not until they're ready. Because sometimes it might be a while before you get to see it. So yeah, mining out all of these blocks just gives the opportunity for more of that tinted glass to grow on the edges. Or sorry, the amethyst thing for the tinted glass. Anyway, right, just waffling away, not paying attention to anything. Fortunate Bloom, thank you for subscribing. Zulu West, thank you for 6 months. And Respect My Authority, thank you for gifting subs too. Shoshi TY and Brainboy, be sure to say thanks in the chat if you were gifted a sub. We always appreciate the gifting of the subs. I'm going to have a little bit of water. Squid Splash says, do you like French toast? I'm sure I would. Butter and bread, who wouldn't? I remember cooking some of that like many, many years ago when I felt a little adventurous. This is back when I didn't even cook. I just put like an egg and a bunch of butter in a pan and then flipped the toast over, and it was well tasty. X, what is your favourite redstone farm to build? I don't know that I'd have a favourite. What I like is the opportunity to engineer and to tinker around and find solutions to some sort of challenge that's in front of you. Okay, I am somewhat attempting to make a staircase here if it's not obvious. Hey X, long time no see. Managed to catch a stream for the first time in ages. Been around since the Xisumavoid days and loving everything you do, my guy, says Black Orb. Black Orb, I remember. Remember that name. Good to see you again. Xisumavoid, that was 2014? 8 years ago, I think. Goodness me, it goes by, doesn't it? It goes by. Oh, Oh, I'm having that acid reflex again. Girls of Doom, thank you for gifting a sub to respect my authority. Appreciate you doing that. And BlakeGen24, thank you for your subscription. Is the world water running? Do you mean the world eater? I don't think it's running at the moment. Okay, this feels like our little staircase is done now to get us down into this area. Throw up some torches, everything's bright and luminous, no baddies. Oh god, lava! Go away, lava. And it doesn't look like it actually leads into a cave. So, I guess what we've got to do now is... Yeah, maybe not like that. Maybe we need to use the fortune pick. Wait, didn't I just get 2 of those? No, I must have mined another one at another point. Like, you don't get 2 from one. The World Eater broke yesterday, says Sir Gemin. I only got to see a little bit of it. I wanted to be there. I wanted to help out. And then I realised, oh yeah, I'm going to London. And I won't be back in time. And I got back to see a little bit of it on Twitch. Watched a bit of Cleo's stream. So I caught wind of like 1 or 2 little details. But not a lot, really. It's working now. That is good to hear. So yeah, Doc's World Eater and him doing the perimeter is kind of like a throwback to old school Minecraft. I mean, like I have incredibly fond memories of first discovering this game, as many of you will do. That moment where like you see the brilliance of the game and you start watching someone else play it. They're in a world doing super cool stuff, and it is just like utterly engrossing. And for me, that was with Doc M and Efo, and Sean Static as well. And Doc's world tour with the perimeter was just every day, man. Like back then, it was really weird. It was like I think the pace of Minecraft videos was just not about like ramming it full of content, right? It was sort of more like a very regular thing at a slower pace. So it was pretty much like daily or every other day there'd be like this new Doc M World Tour video, and I could never wait to like, sorry, never wait. What's the expression? I was always waiting. You know, I was always anticipating. I was always excited for what would happen next. And in that world, it was just one thing after another. All this technical Minecraft, all this finding ways to do stuff and break the game and build all these crazy farms. And you know, that was the beginning of that. I miss it a little bit because it was all fresh and new, and now it's kind of nostalgic when you look back. But it was a terrific time in the Minecraft community back then. It was a different time too. And you can't ever have it back because the arrow of time goes in one direction, right? But they were good times for sure. Dark Follow Aversal, thank you ever so much for subscribing. We also got Zulu West gifting a sub to Versailles. We got more gifted subs coming through here. Soshi TY is gifting a sub to Hayden's dad. And Ritata Moon is here gifting subs to Venot. Poplavar81, probably butchered that name. Incurious, for Twitch it stands. And Lady Jack Elope. If you've been gifted a sub, be sure to say thanks in the chat. We always appreciate the gifting of the subs. J. Kells, thank you for 14 months. Greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the support, peeps, as always. What did Doc do, says Aled. Are we talking about back in the day? He had his World Tour series, and he had this amazing perimeter built with sandstone. It was like the first time someone had built a perimeter in Minecraft. And he built all these crazy cool contraptions like the bird cage, and he had like a pig spawner somehow in there. It was just you know, that time, that sort of like magic in a bottle. Where like the game was new and fresh, and there's all sorts of cool stuff to be discovered. It's like now you expect stuff to be discovered, right? Like if there's a new update, it's like, and now we wait for someone to build a farm with it, right? Whereas back then it was like a lot of stuff was a surprise. Oh, you can do that? You can do this? It was super cool. And so yeah, I was just, you know, fresh to the game and every day just loving the whole YouTube experience. Watching all these fresh videos. Hey, we've had more gifted subs. Goodness me, we've had a ton of gifted subs. Oh, I'm about to butcher some names, it would seem, because there are too many of these to get right. Property Panda, thank you for subscribing as well. J. Curls, Zulu West, Heart of Ink, thank you for all of these gifted subs. Peeps, if you hear your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in the chat. We've got Zen Pooled, Reckoning, International Space Bacon, wow. Still DM, Bananai 46, Rems, Shao, Al, Cremi. These names are absolutely getting butchered. Movie Muna 19, Jilly T67, Fatima Gucci, M Tunny 27, Star Scarred, Wheezy Watcher, Brave Soul CSB, Blue Fire Green, Meg MC John, and Oaks Zalin. I've tried my best to get those ones right. Please forgive me if any of them were wrong. Also, GDizzle78 and 7041, thank you for subscribing. We got Dinklevamp here at the Prime 2. And the Viking Dane is here for 17 months. Greatly appreciated. As always, peeps, can't thank you enough. Just hope you're enjoying the stream. We're not actually here to like rip out the geode as such. I mean, maybe that's what we'll end up doing, but part of the goal was just to collect some of the drops from around here. And there's another geode nearby, which is why this is going to be a great little outpost, if you like. So from here, if I grab my coordinates, we have to go... let's go over here. So about here-ish. No, I'm getting it wrong. That one over there. So like here-ish. And then maybe down a little bit. Okay, what I'm going to do is go back to this tunnel. And dig myself a new staircase. While we're on the topic of being all nostalgic and whatnot, I've had a bit of a nostalgic day because I've been listening to a very interesting podcast, but it's something I'll probably talk about when I finish getting through all the episodes. I found it really, really fascinating. But earlier in the day, I was watching some more of these theme park videos about like old school theme parks, things I remember from my youth, and they mentioned this show on ITV called Gladiators. Does anyone in chat remember that show? I went on YouTube, what would you know, someone's uploaded like a whole season of it, and I didn't watch a lot. I watched a little bit to jog my memory, and it was pretty much like, it was really, really close to what I remembered it being. Like pretty much exactly. And it was really quite a fun show as a kid to watch. It had all these like athletic people come on and compete in these like mini games against the gladiators. And like some of the games were like pretty, like they're sort of, you know, low-key ridiculous, but like because people put in, like they gave it a serious go, it made it really quite fun to watch. It made its way to South Africa at one point. Interesting. Looking at the aesthetic of the show, it had a very like American vibe to me. Like it reminded me of WWE or F, like wrestling. But it was all rather British. It was all rather British. Gafol, 004, thank you for 2 months. XI Robotic is here for 5 months, saying, hey, X, just binge watch your entire Season 9 playlist so far. Felt like taking a break from watching Hermitcraft would be good since I watched so many POVs, so much it got to be too much. And Season 9 felt like it was moving too fast for my liking, but your progress so far is awesome. Looking forward to your main base. Thank you, my dude. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to do something in a particular way this season, and I see a lot of the feedback that's, you know, positive for that. One of the things, you know, when I'm reading my comments and seeing people are liking what I'm doing, I'm kind of aware that, like, if you're tuned out because you don't like it, I'm not going to hear your comment, right? Because you're not there commenting. But I mean, I'm just glad that people are enjoying this approach that I'm taking. So I'm glad that you are too. I'm just trying to capture a little bit of that kind of old school feel, and I feel like the pace is part of that. Because man, us hermits, we try and do too much. It feels like, you know, need a break sometimes. Okay. I would like a bit of a longer video, says Joel Gamd. Yeah, I like to just stick to my like amount of time, because like the pacing in my video doesn't like, I don't really have like an end goal. It's just like a continuous story. Or have I gone too far? I might have gone over the top of this thing already. Let's check the coordinates. Nope, we might just be a couple of blocks away. Okay, my guess is that we probably need to go down towards it. I might... Oh, no, no, no. I know what I'm doing wrong. I need to go up towards it. Oh, the dang coordinates are flipped. So yeah, my episodes just tend to like roll one moment to the next with like no particular arc. So I don't feel like I have to keep going. Oh, look at that. We're literally right below it. And I like to just give you a little bit of predictability, a little bit of structure to like how the length of the video is. And I've done that for a long time. I've tried to just aim for that sort of 21, 22 minutes. That feels good. So you might want longer ones, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. NB 2005, thank you for 7 months, saying you can now use Silk Touch on budding Amethyst blocks. I think I might be wrong, but on the Java server and I play on 1.18.2, people have Silk Touched them. That sounds like a mod to me. I do not recall that being a vanilla feature at all. I think also it's a bad... Like, I can understand why you might want to. I don't think there's a good reason to do it on multiplayer, because geodes are very common, right? The whole point of them not being movable is to give you a farm type where you have to build it around the random arrival of these blocks. And I'm glad that they did that, because, you know, too many of the farms sort of fit into the infinite format of, you know, grab this thing, you got bone meal for days, and now you got this thing for days as well. I like that you have to come to the location and work for it a bit. I think it's good. Adds variety, you know. Just wait for every second video and watch 2 at once, says the Thinky. Yep. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like me in troll mode right there. Could have trolled with that answer. Yeah, that's another very valid point, though, is that, you know, if you want it longer, I mean, I could make them longer and then you just have them less often, right? SS88900, thank you for your subscription. A9 Tur, thank you for 14 months. Calamity Glitter Toes, thank you for 12, a whole year right there. And Marnik KD is here for 6 months, saying, hi X. I was in the UK 2 weeks ago for work and I loved it. Stayed in a hotel inn in Peterborough. Had a good few days. Love from the Netherlands. Sweet, I'm glad you enjoyed it here, that's awesome. What did you like about it though? Because we were talking a bit recently about the old cuisine over here. I just find that the basic British foods to be on the bland side, you know, fish and chips or whatever, myself. Jake Jahan says, I enjoy the variety and length of Hermit videos, but I have to say I love Doc's hour length ones. Yeah, I mean that's Doc's specialty though, right there, right? That's his thing. I don't think I could quite do that. I mean, maybe I could. I find that like after you've played this game for 10 years, if you're going to talk a lot, like have that more casual flow, there needs to be like a lot going on. And Doc's got like this big master plan that really suits that. Someone like myself, I'm kind of just like, you know, going through the motions, playing the game, building farms. I don't have like this big arc, this big goal objective. If I did, it would probably be like easier to do that kind of video length, you know. Right, yeah, I don't know quite what I'm doing here. I'm just like deliberately mining more of these blocks when maybe I've got all I need. Let's go pillar up and get some stuff from the top. Did I see Efo's new video? Yeah, I always watch Efo's Let's Plays. They're fantastic. And yeah, I saw his latest one. I've heard what's been going on with him. Very, very sad, of course. And wishing him all the best. Randy Nicole, 2002, here for 84 months. Goodness me, what a number. Zalba Garden has subscribed. Aboard Berries is here subscribing too. You know, when we start getting some of the 100 subs coming through, like, I have to do something special for that. I don't know what it would be. I remember in the past, a common thing you'd find on Hermitcraft would be little areas dedicated to Patreons. And then as the seasons go by and the pace increases, it's like you have to keep rebuilding them over and over again. So they've sort of faded away, those little Patreon areas. I don't think I'd do something on, you know, this season, because I know in a couple of years it will no longer be here. So I don't know, but some sort of tribute something somewhere would be super cool. I'm sure an idea will come my way at some point. So we've got a ridiculous amount of that stuff so we can make tinted glass. Carl Sadoom says, if I will go next time to the UK, I will expect to get the best curry I had in all my life, and it's X's fault. Don't expect your expectations too high. I mean, like, to have a great curry, you got to try multiple dishes. You know, you got to try multiple restaurants. It can be a bit hit or miss. Like, I don't talk about the bad curry houses, do I? Oh no, oh no. Most of them are good though. It's just sod's law, you know. Someone will come over, go to a curry house, and they'll get one of the not so great ones. But yeah, or you might just not like it. I mean, it is preference at the end of the day. It is just taste and whatnot. How hot do you like your curry? Says Artist Care Architect. Oh, sorry, Artist Architect. There you go. Managed to read it properly. A Pathia and a Dansak are the hottest ones I have. Right, let's go sort these items away somewhere. I guess I'm gonna need to make more glass. In fact, don't I have like a look? I got a geode thing here as well. So all of that's already got a home in my backpack. Yeah, I guess I might need to go grab some sand. Or oh, that's looking low. There's a little bit in here. We'll go smelt some of that and maybe grab some more. I kind of need to go with sand near the place where we get our sand from. So I guess for the next part of the stream, we're doing stuff with sand, right? Right, back to the base and then prep for what we're doing next. Cool, but yeah, this will now be like a little spot I can come over and mine a bit of that glass, maybe chip away at it in some live streams and stuff, you know? Ooh, I love this song. Is Clash of the Creators ever returning? Loved it and miss it, says the Panda. I think... Ooh, went right over the top of one. Dang, I did miss that. I was not trolling. I think we were due to have one more, but maybe not now. It's been quite a few months. Like, creatively, I kind of just hit a bit of an exhaustion point. I do love the project ever so much, but I just started to struggle with figuring out the ideas each time. And yeah, I think we were kind of at a point where, yeah, maybe this thing has come to pass unless someone like takes the flag over. And we were going to do one more event, and then nothing's happened, and I think that's probably a sign that maybe it's done. It's kind of reached its conclusion, perhaps, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But that's it, you know? Things start and then they end. Rainmaker says UK has a lot of Indians and a long history of India. That's a lot of curry. Yeah, the history of our two countries is fascinating, you know. Starting with colonization, of course, and India being part of the empire, and then a lot of Indians came over here at the call of our government around World War II, and they fought with us in World War I and World War II alongside us as well, I think. And I'm not one... Like, when I say that, I'm not like a pro-war... We fought side by side. I don't know what the words are for it, right? Like, war's terrible, and I wish it wasn't like that. I wish we were all united, but The reason I say those things is because some people have a hard time with, air quotes, others being in the same area as them, and they don't, like, understand the history of it all sometimes, you know? And, certain facts and stuff get lost to time, like, you know, a lot of the Indian people coming over here came to help us. Our government asked them. We needed doctors and nurses, we needed people to work, and they answered the call. And so it always brings me down a bit when I see any, like, bigoted attitudes, which unfortunately you still see. I mean, I saw it more when I was still working, like a job, like, you know, a regular job. And I guess I'm not around those sort of people anymore, so I don't know if it's as prevalent as it was when I was, you know, working that job or whatever, but it always concerns me. I always want to, like, speak out against it. I'm just going to chuck these into a random chest. Maybe not that random chest, this one over here. So we're going to go get some sand. Yes, we are. I wanted to check up on this thing. Ah, okay. Something's gone wrong up there. And we don't need this anymore. Oh, what's this about anger? Anger piggies. Oh, they're talking to each other about something. Newt says, can we swear here? I've forgotten. Probably not. I'm pretty sure the mods don't allow the swearing in the chat. Right, if I need to go over there and get the minecart back on, then I'm going to need a trapdoor. Is geodes still on ocean floors? I can't see anything in that search. Yeah, they might not be visible down there anymore. They used to be quite easy to spot. And they definitely got harder to spot. I don't know if they're, like, completely impossible to. Potternew says, why would one ever swear in chat? Well, you know, it depends on the community, right? Like, in some places, swearing isn't a big deal. Oh! Okay, I assumed... Oh, that still gets in the way. Interesting. And now you pick it up. Great, I want my trapdoor back! Come here, you little rascal. Right, you'll soon be coming back this way. No! Oh, dang it, I wanted to nab it before it went down here. Oh, now I don't even know where it is. Oh, it probably went all the way down to the bottom. So, the problem then might be the villager? Now, if the villager's still... You've lost access to your workstation. Your workstation hasn't moved. I'm sort of terrified of going in here and breaking crops. I'm not sure why you would have forgotten where your workstation is. And therefore I'm not really sure how to remedy. Because I think I'm just going to have to get stuck in here and fix it. Okay, we didn't break the crops, thank goodness. So, like, does that allow you to get in close and get at it? He needs a pay raise. Did you not lock the profession? I didn't actually. I didn't actually ever trade with this guy. Do I need to just trade and then... See, I could replace the workstation. I guess that's going to have to happen. Do you still have, like, an inventory full of seeds? You must do. I think I'm going to start by trying to replace the workstation. Which, actually, I can do if I'm here. Okay, let's clear up some space. So maybe, like, yeah, you just needed a refresher. Interesting. Okay, so if I get carrots or emeralds, then I'm good. And I don't think I have either of those things, so I'm probably not good. Right, we are diagnosing, peeps. Give the man a visual workstation. Xisuma is gay to know. If I put another workstation in the area, it might try and drop the items off there instead. If I have emeralds, there would be... Oh, I've got an emerald ore, which is considerably more valuable than the actual emeralds, given the server's economy. Aha. Okay, so we'll do it that way around, and then we'll repair some things. Speaking of which... Uh-huh. Okay, go down here. Yep, don't break the crops, that's amazing. Trade with you. Thanks for the bread. Now you're locked, is what chat tells me. Nah, chat's right. Chat's right on this one. Oh god. Quicker now. No! Do not come over here. Oh. Made me panic. Right, and our minecart is probably still somewhere here, down and around, going around. Right. Yep. And this thing shouldn't block it, right? Uh-huh, yep. Okay, I'm going to leave that trapdoor there. This goes here. We have fixed the problem and we're out of here. Do you ever get angry, says Kings CS. You know what? I'm always going to be capable of getting angry. But I don't get angry... Not a lot of stuff angers me anymore. I've tried to develop this, like, go with the flow attitude. I just kind of noticed, like, in myself and in people around me, how you get, like, agitated and annoyed with one another. And it, like, always seems to be over, like, trivial things. Things that don't really, like, mean a lot. And so, I kind of, like, always try and keep that moment in my head of, like, is this worth being upset about? Or, like, is this really what matters? And usually the answer's like, no. And so because of that, I don't feel a lot of anger. I feel like it's easy to, like, look out into the world, see people do negative things, and feel anger towards that. But again, like, I try and remind myself that when you see people doing bad or terrible things, it tends to just be, like, a moment. Right? Like, 99% of the time we're all going around, getting along, doing well, and then we just have this, like, one moment where it falls apart, and that'll become, like, the moment that everyone pays attention to. So when I see, like, those sort of videos that tend to make you a bit angry and outraged of someone behaving badly, I just kind of try and remind myself that's just, like, a moment in their life, and, you know, maybe we're all more capable of being like that if we're angry or something than we realise. Joel Kip, thank you for 78 months. Greatly appreciated. Another Evil X joining us today. Spooky noise indeed. And Smartin1018, 72. 2 Evil X's saying, this must mean 6 years. Have anything you're looking forward to in the summer months? Yeah, I've got a vacation planned. I want to get a couple more of those sort of things together. You know, time off really. Regular time off. Can't be grinding all the time. Matatat 24, thank you for 14 months. Thank you for the nice message as well. The angriest I've been in a long time was the threat to be nuked, so someone could be powerful, wealthy, and make war, says Keep Thinking Good. Yeah, it's very easy to get angry over such, like, big issues like that. For me, like, my relation to hearing that kind of news as of late has been, like, I've sort of recoiled from paying attention to a lot of what's going on over there and the news in general. I've really been on a bit of a news detox, and whenever I do open up a news app and look, I kind of do it with this, like, thing in my head of, right, don't take any of this in, just see if it's the same sort of thing again. And, like, without really trying to absorb any of the articles, I like browse through the headlines, and it's like, yep, negative, 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 negative. And I'm like, okay, now just go back to what you were doing before. And it's like, I didn't have any of that negativity, like, around me before. So being like quite distant from the situation, I guess, it's easy for me to do that. But my thing is, like, some of these things are just so out of your control. Like, I'm not in a position to do anything about this. So, like, if I'm just going to focus on my own well-being, which, I mean, makes me feel a little bit guilty sometimes, but otherwise, what can I do? Like, stew and fester? Or just, you know, realize that these things are sort of beyond me and out of my control, and that makes me less prone to being affected by it, I guess. I mean, if I was someone who chose a career path to be in line with these sorts of events and have influence on them, and, you know, some sort of European politician or something like that, then, you know, that would obviously be my interest, and all the thoughts and opinions I have on it could be manifested, and then maybe that's like a place to be stressed about it. Like, if something bad happens to Hermitcraft, it's my place, it's my responsibility or whatever to deal with it. So that affects me. But when it's things just so far out of your control and reach, my attitude is like to not let it affect me, because I'm completely incapable of, like, you know, take ownership over what you can control and respond to in your environment. Otherwise, these things are just, you know, going to get the best of you over and over again. Rixie505, thank you for the prime, my dude. We also got Curls saying, I recently listened to The Courage to be Disliked. It is a book about Adlerian psychology. Alfred Adler was an Austrian psychologist who worked with Freud and Jung, and one of the biggest messages in it was that becoming angry and acting on anger is a choice, and that its purpose is to get the upper hand towards the other person in the situation. I found that perspective very interesting. That is interesting, Curls. It falls in line with something I've been thinking a lot lately, and the title of the book is The Courage to be Disliked. I've been exposed to hate sent towards me for various reasons as a person of interest online, and it's really affected me at points in the past, and it affects me much less now. And one of the things I've come to accept is just that the internet is full of noise. There's so many opinions about people and things, and you can't please everyone. You are going to have people that don't like you, and that's fine. And I think it's, you know, if you're operating with honest intent and good intentions, which I believe I am, you know, people will see some of the things you do or say and have some sort of opinion about it, and that's okay. And just realizing that, you know, if you follow your own compass and just accept some people may misunderstand you or get it wrong, then that's okay. I don't know, like, I talked in the past about like having a thick skin. I don't think it's quite having a thick skin sometimes. I think it's like just having the right way of thinking about it. If I see some hateful, mean comment on my channel, sometimes I tell you what, I do get a bit sarky with a response. That I probably shouldn't do, but it just doesn't affect me anymore. It's like, okay, you know, like you've seen certain things, you've been exposed to certain ideas, and that shapes how you interact with me. And sometimes the end result of that equation is that we don't see eye to eye. But yeah, I had like a bit of a what I would say like pompous comment a while back that I replied sarcastically to. I feel like that's something I probably shouldn't do, but it was something along the lines of just critiquing me about something I do in my videos that to me felt very trivial, and like acted as if it was a really big deal, and that you know, they were going to withdraw their subscription from my channel. I was like, go right ahead. You know, like if anyone wants to unsubscribe from me, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. You have your reasons. It's okay. I'll be fine. You know, and people move on as well. Sometimes, you know, I get a message from like, oh, I feel guilty. I used to watch your videos and stuff. It's like, it's cool. Whatever reason you got, it's cool. People get bored of stuff. They move on. It's fine. Egypt Craze, thank you for the Prime subscription. Zach Notes, thank you for the Prime as well. Greatly appreciated. I've been thinking a little bit lately on that note of a creator that I follow, who I've sort of just started to like get a little tired of. and like not in a negative way, not like there's something wrong with them or anything, just that I've sort of heard their opinions and takes for so long that I just end up like getting a bit exhausted of it and not paying as much attention. And it just kind of reminded me that there's been like several things like that over time. Like I can look back and go, back then I was listening to this person's idea, and then you move on, you find someone else's idea, and it's just like the cycle of things. Your interests don't remain static; they keep on changing and upgrading. Curl says, what helped me was the concept that Adler introduced, which is that we need to isolate tasks that are truly our tasks from tasks of other people. Our task is to do our thing, and we can't and shouldn't try to influence it, other people like it or not, because that is their task. Anything else would be like trying to do another person's task, which is impossible. That is a really great thought, Curls. Thanks for sharing that. That ties into another thing, I guess, if you listen to these waffles and hear my thoughts, I guess, change and evolve over time and stuff. Like I keep getting irritated when I go on Reddit. And talking about like staying away from news and stuff, like I have actually minimized my use of Reddit lately. And I think I've just probably had a bit too much and I think I might just uninstall the app. That'll probably be the best way to do it at the moment. Like uninstall it for a long time now, because I keep seeing it again and again. Like this, like here's an example of what I don't like seeing. Is this kind of like, you know, meme post which has sort of no deeper context, no discussion, very little information, statistics which are, you know, that quote, statistics and damn lies. You know, you can frame statistics without a lot of context, and there's a lot of this like, you know, tax the rich, you know, take all the money away from the billionaires and solve world hunger, right? You know, great, solving world hunger. Who would be against that? No one. But it's like there's no plan. Like no one's proposing anything. It's just like, oh, tax them and it'll solve world hunger. And it's like, well, who's sharing this? Because there's a lot of people upvoting and discussing, and I get the feeling, let's say one of these posts has got 20,000 upvotes, right? And that's probably quite tame for stuff that reaches the front page of Reddit. I don't particularly look at the numbers too closely. Something like that, like 20,000. Of those 20,000 people who are, you know, sounding the drum. Sounding the drum? What's the right sort of phrase here? You know, signing off on that opinion. Who's actually in a position where they understand world economics and have some form of influence on how to change that outcome, or like a plan? Or I don't see that ever. I don't see anyone coming forward with a solution. There might be a good solution. I'm not dismissing the need for a solution either. It's just, it's like that thing about the tasks. There's a lot of people like commenting and having really strong opinions in this world about stuff that's like really out of your own grasp sometimes. And I put a video on the Xisuma Says channel, I think back in season 6 or maybe the beginning of season 7, somewhere around there, about like, you know, billionaires, do we need them? And it was like really hard for me to articulate what I was trying to get at, but I've had the time to like think it over a bit more now. And it's like, it's not so much a matter of like wealth inequality, which I believe is a problem, but it's just seeing this constant kind of like being the one to point out the problem all the time, and just not seeing anyone like bring a solution. It's just like tax them, and it's like, and then what? Like, who's to say that solves the problem? Where's the plan? How do we get food to these people? Like, do you understand how logistics and economics works, and supply chains and distribution? Sometimes the reason there's shortages in places is because there isn't the infrastructure to move food around. Sometimes it's because there's war. Unfortunately, starvation is a very strongly used weapon in war. And so, you know, okay, right, so now you've got all these billions. How do you stop the war with billions? Did you even realize you'd need to stop this war that's taking place? Like, what was the plan? I don't see it. Smartin says there are plans, but they're not being shared because it's content that takes more than 60 seconds to consume. Headlines and short-form content is so much easier to persuade an audience. Yeah, that's a fascinating insight, Smartin, because not only do I understand your point, but it makes me see a shortcoming in my own critique, which is that I'm critiquing the problem, right? But I'm also sort of engaging in it with the same problem. And actually, one of the things that has started to deter me from Reddit is I found some really good sources of like audiobook listening lately, and found another really great podcast just the other day. And this is so much more informed, deeper content that really like gives you details and information about stuff and a broader understanding of things that I've been really enjoying. I'm like, I should put my time more into this and less into Reddit, right? Is the idea. In fact, peeps, we're going to have a little ceremonious moment right now. I'm actually just going to uninstall Reddit. Like, I'm not even going to make a note that I should do that later. I'm going to uninstall it from my phone right now. Let's unlock. Come on, unlock. There it goes. Okay, goodbye Reddit. Trash. Yep. It's gone. It's gone. I'm just going to uninstall it, right? Going to uninstall it. There we go. There we go. So, like, one of the things I like about being able to have a waffle on here is that I do spend a lot of time thinking about ideas and information that I come across and whatnot. I want to like convey the better bits of all of that to all of y'all. I always want to like work on, you know, bettering this opportunity to talk to peeps, and like I keep thinking about like maybe it's like less about, again, like less about focusing on negativity and more about positivity. Like if I can start to like learn more interesting things from these books and share like the insights from those as opposed to just point out what's terrible all the time or part of the time, I don't know. Very interesting. I should take more questions from chat because like y'all are insightful too. Reddit more like Red Dead. Oh. X, what do you think is the best goal? How to start a life after school? That is like just like, I love the fact that you're thinking that as a young person, because what I would think if I could go back in time, which is something I don't want to do. I don't want to go back in time and do it all again. Please no. I somehow got through it. Don't make me do it again. But like, I look back and I'm like, I just had no direction. I had no compass. I had no thinking for like, what's ahead? What should I do? Right? If you're asking that question, that's great. I'm not sure I can tell you what the answer is, but like, don't give up the question, right? Like, keep engaging with that idea, explore things. You know, at the end of every Lex Friedman podcast, there's always this question of like advice for young people. I would actually recommend right now, if I could, something that just came to my mind off the top of my head, maybe just jump to the end of each of his podcasts. Right, he interviews some very interesting people, very bright people, smart people who have achieved a lot in life. Maybe just start there, hear what they have to say, see if some ideas catch on or something, right? Peeps are saying save the kitty. Come on, kitty cat. We got to save you. There you go. There you go. World hunger is not just one problem. People going hungry in many different countries for different reasons. Most of the time, these reasons are systematic and the systems need to change. Lots of charity projects have failed because the local needs and culture were not taken into account. It's less about willingness to spend money. Let's say that again. It's less about willingness to spend money than willingness to openly and willingly learn about those cultures. That sounds, yeah, that sounds very believable, Curls. That sounds very, very believable, because you know one of the reasons I'm not so keen on charities is because I learned about how terribly inefficient some of them are and how they can pay wages to, you know, like when I say wages, I mean like extraordinary amounts of money to some of the fundraisers involved. It's like, yeah, this charity's good for you as well, isn't it? Not just doing it out of the kindness of your heart. I don't know, but yeah, you know, charities can have their problems. That's the thing, though. Anything can have its problems. Nothing works 100%. Simbert says, but we have enough resources on this planet, they're just very badly distributed. Right, yeah, totally. But like, look into like how complicated distribution is, right? That's what I'm getting at. Is it's all fair and well shouting tax the rich, but like it's not a solution. You've got to learn more about how the world works. I don't want to say too much on specifics because I'm not really well versed in this stuff, but I have like taken the time to listen to like audiobooks about various topics related to economics and distribution, logistics and world politics, and like it doesn't make me an expert, it makes me realize how complicated this stuff is, right? That's what I'm getting at. And well, actually I think I need to leave those there to remind me of the bounding box later on. And then guess what I got to do? I got to keep filling this stuff up around the outside. And because I don't have sponges, I'm doing it the old school slow way, I guess. Yeah, I actually read one about scale the other day, and it really fascinated me. Like, I keep hearing this term about like economics of scale, especially when I listen to some business books, right? Because I'd listen to some business books because what I do is technically a business, and it gave me some ideas, some that have been really helpful, like working with other people. I went for the longest time doing absolutely everything you see myself, and you know, now that I work with other people, I've got 4 channels and more content comes out, and better content I hope, and more time to myself. Like, there were just ideas in there that were really useful to me. Being a sort of just like one person operation, streaming, playing games and whatnot, I actually found that like a lot of these books I was listening to were really oriented more towards actual business owners, of people who like trade and make goods and stuff, but at the same time there were like little bits of information here and there that were really valuable to listen to. So anyway, I hear this term like economics of scale all the time, and one of the books I found was about how economics of scale works, but not just economics, like scaling in other things as well, like metabolism. So like the size of creatures and how big they could be. Like you couldn't, with our current system of biology, you couldn't have a creature as big as Godzilla because of how scaling works in 3 dimensions. And it means that after like a certain volume of mass, like things like the bone density, like, and its ability to support all of the mass just does not scale. And Godzilla would actually crush under its own weight because of the bone's like limitation on how much weight it can support. And then this kind of like manifests in lots of different places. They do studies, they look at statistics and numbers, and they find like cities and populations and correlations, and they put together like these scaling laws where it's like, oh, we've sussed out that this thing scales with that thing at this ratio. And it's like, wow, that's like, there's like a deeper thing there as well, which is like, why does the world play out like that? Like, is this some sort of like mysterious force? It almost feels like the secret hand that moves the chess pieces sometimes, right? Like you're looking at, like, especially when you hear these statistics of like, I think in pretty much every country around the world, the largest city is twice the population of the second largest city, and then it's like a third, and like there's this like distribution of population law that just seems to be naturally adhered by lots of by pretty much everything. That kind of stuff, super fascinating. Wow, why does that happen? You know, what's up with that? Anyway, this one scaling law, just trying to remember it correctly. The average speed at which people walk in a town or city... They just shut up. It scales to the size of the city. Thus, a bigger city, faster walking speed. Like, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. You can imagine living in a village, there's not as much going on, there's not as much urgency, economic activity, life moves at a slower pace. People walk slower. That makes sense. Just a fascinating little thing. That something like walking speed could scale with the population is just... yeah, really, really fascinating. So, yeah, like I love to like learn about little things like that, and then it's a constant reminder of how complex the world is, and how it's just not as simple as like, oh, tax the rich, that will solve everything, you know. You know. Let's pick one from chat. I'm looking in chat for some curious questions here. I got a Papa John's ad. Now I'm hungry. Oh, now you're making me hungry. I'm actually gonna have a snack after this stream. I worked out for 2.5 hours today. Absolutely pushing myself. And for this week, I'm gonna have like a protein shake and a little snack in the evening each day. I'm trying to make those gains, you know. But I think I gotta change it up again just a little bit. Like this new routine's like really good, but 2.5 hours a day might just be a bit much. This stream has turned into business school and it's fun, says Rambo John. I wouldn't say it's business school. It's just a little in the direction of things like business, I guess. I mean, those things like really spark my curiosity, like economic activity and whatnot. I always remember, like, when I was younger, there would be like a bit of like a rolling joke that you would see here and there, like on a TV show. Like I always remember it, like there's two guys in a bar, and it's like one guy's like nerdy and the other guy's all sporty, and he's like, so about the economy, eh? And the sporty guys are all like, oh god, don't talk to me about the economy. And now that I'm older, it's always like I'm actually interested in this stuff because I see it so differently now. I realise that like the world and all the things we experience kind of hinges on like the massive infrastructure and way that everything is interconnected, and like politics is a part of it, economics is a part of it, and I just look at it differently now, I guess. And then they kiss, says Newt Newt. I don't know if you're remembering the same, was it a commercial, a TV show? I don't recall that bit. I mean, it might be a part of a joke or something, right? Like, and you've remembered it. By the way, we had a noise in the ear from Crappy Toast for 6 months. Thank you ever so much. Woohoo, 6 months, have a good stream. Thank you, my dude. The Chaos Shaman says, on the topic of economics and the rich, people want Elon to give money to the government to end world hunger. But what happens when that money runs out? It's the same paradigm Thanos faced. Half the population, and then once they breed back, then what? Instead, he is focused on expanding the human... Who is Thanos? Expanding the human race to be interplanetary? Are we talking about Elon? Instead, he's focusing... Oh, well, we're talking about Elon. Instead, he's focusing about expanding the human race to be interplanetary to cultivate resources from other planets and limit overpopulation. Yeah, so here's how I look at this, right? I can say many things about this. Like, there are a myriad of problems that we can potentially face, that we do face, things that need to be solved right now and things that need to be solved in the future. There's also a lot of us on the planet with the ability to, you know, air quotes, make things happen, pursue certain goals and whatnot. And Elon has his goals and he's pursuing them. And if your goals are to solve world hunger, then pursue them, is what I would say. Like, go do that. We need that. What we need is less, like, nitpicking about all the problems that need solving and more actively going out there and trying to solve them, I guess. You know? Because a lot of people who don't do anything to solve the problems have, like, really strong opinions on about people who are trying to solve the other problems. Doesn't seem very helpful. In my mind, there's probably maybe going to be some really extreme problems or examples at some point in time where it's like, you know, someone is trying to solve for a problem that's infinitesimally unlikely to happen, right? I don't think the interplanetary thing is a terrible goal to have, and like going back to space, because the space race brought us so many technological advancements that are incredibly useful and vital to improving the lives of many people around the world, like GPS being one of them. So someone trying to solve the interplanetary problem and advance humanity in that way, that's a good cause, no matter what. And I think squabbling over, like, what problem to solve is just, like, let's all try and solve the problems. Like, let's not squabble over it. As for, you know, taking his money, people also forget that Elon is, like, one of the biggest taxpayers in history. He's probably paid the most tax. It's, you know, that's not like a point that then says, and everything else he does is fine, right? Someone's always got a point against. To me, it's just like, look at how complicated this stuff is to suss out, right? Like, taxation, is tax money even ever spent right? People have different opinions on how much there should be taxed and how tax money should be spent and la 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 la. Like, I'd much rather just see more of, like, people going out there and trying to make a difference and having those ambitions than being someone who doesn't and, you know, tells other people not to do the things they're trying to do. Zaki Goa, thank you for 16 months. Greatly appreciated. Thank you for subscribing. We also got M. Liaux here with the Prime too. Thank you ever so much for subscribing. Billionaires will not save the planet, says Rob Knitz. Yeah, I don't think they will. I think it will take all of us working together to solve the problems of the day and the time, right? Like, it's not all about one person. I mean, you know, SpaceX isn't just Elon Musk. Tesla isn't just Elon Musk, right? There's many people involved. But that fixation on it as like an individual thing, to me it's just like, I don't know, it just feels like the wrong attitude. After we eat the billionaires and use their hoarded resources, says Gordius Maximus. Yeah, there's another disconnect as well, right? Like, I know some billionaires have lavish lifestyles and whatnot, and I don't particularly agree with some of the choices they make, but like, this idea of them hoarding resources, I think, like, there's a lot of misunderstanding about, like, what resources are and what the wealth they have is. A lot of the wealth they have is speculative numeric wealth tied up in stock and the perceived value of stock, which can change on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute basis, you know. It's not like they have warehouses full of all the food that could be shared with the money that they have, right? I know that there is definitely some some points to be made there about, like, people like Bill Gates buying up land, and is that fair? But that's why we should talk about the specifics of something like that. Like, what is Bill Gates doing buying up all this farmland, and should he really have the ability to do that, as opposed to just, like, drilling it down to this, you know, this point of the rich are hoarding all the resources, because it's like, it's so much more complex than that. That's not quite what's going on. It's not just about hoarding resources, it's about them having sway and power as a result of their wealth. It's not just they have wealth, it's that they use it to tear down worker regulations, even influence an education system a la Bill Gates, says Orange JSX. Yeah, I'm more with you on that point. The amount of sway and influence they have as unelected officials seems very problematic. I listened to Bill Gates' book recently. I say recently, that might have been a couple of years, well, a year ago now. When did his book come out about climate change? I listened to it really intently. I think the guy probably does have, you know, good intent at heart. I think it's also quite easy to be really well intentioned when, like, no one's restricting you on all the decisions you're making and stuff. But the guy also reads a lot. Like, he talks about reading an extraordinary amount of books, and he puts his, like, finger into so many pies through the lens of investment, which is what he can do with his wealth. And this tends to lead to a lot of, like, wacky conspiracy theories about, like, you know, Bill Gates is, like, trying to build a laser that shoots the sun or something. Actually, I think if I remember it correctly, it's that there is a technology like a bit of a last case scenario use type of technology where we disperse loads of these chemicals or compounds or whatever into the atmosphere, and it would help us cool the planet, right? And so then this goes into some like wacky conspiracy from people who don't quite understand what's going on there. What Bill does with his money is he invests in all sorts of things related to the environment and solving the problem, and that includes far out there ideas that are, you know, if all else fails, we might have to fall back on this. And because that context is lost, it leads to these like wacky conspiracy theories and stuff. But, you know, listening to him talk about it through his own, you know, narrative, it's interesting. You can understand his intentions, but the whole time it's like you're sort of showing just how much wealth and influence you have and the ability to make these decisions just as an individual. Because I can't do that, you know. And yeah, maybe I haven't read as many books as Bill Gates, but there's something that feels a bit wrong about having individuals like that make such massive decisions. You think that should come from like societal consensus and government. But then the other thing is like you got like the crystal ball of like how will it all play out in the future, or what if we did it one way or the other? We don't have the A/B testing. We can't put it in the lab and find out what happens if we let the billionaires figure it out or if we do it as a government, because governments can make bad decisions and bad investments too, right? My gut instinct is that you probably do. It needs to be more government and for the people. But at the same time, I see like if you look at NASA and then what Elon Musk has done to transform the space race and space race. What am I calling it? You know, transform that industry. It kind of paints a picture that government couldn't do that. Like the government couldn't figure out the going to space thing and make it cheaper, right? But Elon could. He could make it so that we can get rockets up there and it's economically viable, and now we might be going to Mars. So, in that case, the individual was able to do it perhaps where the government wasn't. And when I say individual, I don't mean he figured out every little problem on his own, right? We're talking about him as a company leader and bringing bright minds together, because unfortunately NASA couldn't do that. And so, you know, I know I lean more towards it doesn't feel right, but there's examples of it going well when it's left down to, you know, as they would say, the market determining these things as opposed to just a billionaire. Amethyst, thank you ever so much for the Prime, greatly appreciated. Carl says Thanos is the main villain / end boss in the Avengers movie from Marvel. He snapped his Infinity Gauntlet and erased half of all life in the universe to eradicate poverty and scarcity. That sounds crazy. Mystery Kosher says Elon has accomplished very little in terms of space technology, and it's all based on the shoulders of massive public investment that preceded his involvement. I think you're downplaying what SpaceX has achieved there. And yeah, the government investment that came before it, that's the thing though, that's what the government has chosen to do there. They've chosen to incentivize the uptake of electronic vehicles and you know, funding of space or going to space or whatever, you know. They put out those incentives and ask companies to take the tax money in order to stimulate like activity in that direction, and then it gets reframed later on as like billionaires take in welfare from the state. It's so bizarre to me how this stuff like gets reframed out of context. Like the government wanted, you know, to stimulate electronic cars and the development of you know, rockets and whatnot, because NASA couldn't do it anymore, and you know, some companies took that up then. Anyway, I feel like this is like, you know, this is good enough. We talked about it a bit. Maybe we'll leave it there. Right, I'm gonna hop over to my creative world and just see how much more space I need to dig out quickly. Oh my god, it's probably quite a lot, isn't it? So, what are we looking at here? Like, let's... Oh, I could just measure the box like that. So it's 19 by 21. So pretty much a square box of 21 would do me, I think. 2 knives, 1 cut. Thank you ever so much for your subscription. Greatly appreciated. Sketchy Magic says about Elon. Oh, let's just drop it all now. I mean, if you want to know the answer to your question, just go look it up. Like, I'm sure you'll find it. Obviously, this stuff is like really divisive. I don't want it to be massively divisive. Just kind of want to express the way I see all this stuff. I try not to have, like, you know, too solid a footing, like I got the answer or anything like that. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. This is what I learned. I think the box. No, wait. Okay, the bounding box of a witch hut has a okay, I'm gonna just drop back to the other world again because it'll answer my question. Right, if we look at this one over here, it will tell me that the bounding box is... Let's try again. 63? That can't... Oh, no, wait, 63 blocks. Yeah. So that would be 9 by 7. Excellent, that's what I needed to know. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on one side, I don't know which side it is here, it extends out a little further. I could use the other world again to tell me, but I don't think we're going to get enough done for it to matter right now. So, how do I count this again? So we got 7 from side to side, 9, 11. This is 13 here. Wow, didn't we need to go up to like at least 19? 15. 17 and then 19. So what I'll do is I'll go out 4 on each side. And then that will be our thing. Life is rarely easy to understand and the world is far more complex. If you can describe it all in a single massive unbalanced vision, you're probably oversimplifying stuff, says Zurich and Jeep. Yeah, that sounds like a very fair point. Very fair way of looking at things to end what we were discussing a moment ago on, you know? The reality is, hang on, this is interesting. The reality is that these people wouldn't be billionaires today if they had a change of heart when they became millionaires and used a significant amount of their wealth for philanthropic purpose to actually make the world a better place. Everything boils down to growth and success, which is impossible if you give away 50% to starving kids instead of further investing it. There is there is so much that we could unpack out of that statement, as there are just so many things highlighted there that are worth like pondering on. By the way, there are examples of billionaires who have like given away all of their wealth. Not many, but I've heard stories about them, and it's like no one wants to talk about them when it comes to that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have had a billionaire 200 years ago, right? Maybe there was. I don't know. Like wealth scales, numbers mean different things over time, and again, a lot of that wealth is often tied to stock and speculative value. But yeah, like I said, we'll leave it there now. Right, Lufro21 says, what are some ways to not get burnt out? I know you've gotten this question a lot, but I've burnt out a lot in recent months and can't find inspiration anymore. If you're talking specifically about Minecraft, then, you know, I have all of y'all, my audience, that keep me going with this game. Keeps it fun and interesting. I know when I tackle stuff, I get to enjoy it with all of you, and that's what stops me from getting burned out. I also do a lot of other things too, right? You don't spend 100% of the time on here. If you're relating to other things, I mean, I think the thing with burnout is when you feel it, take the time to introspect and take a break and figure out what's going on. I mean, that's the main thing, right? Because I think one of the big problems about burnout is that it's like you tend to experience it because you're still on the wheel. You're on the hamster wheel. You're going around in circles, right? You're grinding. And, wow, hey, we just had a big sub bomb come in. I got some names to read here. Goodness me. Yeah. So, like, the key thing is, like, if you're aware you got it, you need to think it through. You need to address it. You need to figure out what it means and how you're going to, like, go to the next thing. But what's important is to realize that if you're feeling it, you're probably, like, still on that treadmill trying to do that thing over and over again. And you do need a break from it to figure that stuff out. And there are those pressures. Oh, I gotta keep going, you know. Right. Goodness me, we've had some gifted subs. I'm pretty sure some names are about to be butchered, right? Also, I feel like this is a reminder that for the last 30 minutes of the stream, I could do a standing up. Whew. Here we go. Right, I'm fully standing up. I'm going to hit that butcher name emote, because I know it's going to happen. Let's read out all of these names. If you hear your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in the chat. I also see a lot of these are like multiple months as well, so we've got a lot of recurring viewers here as well. 3 piglets in a coat. Co2RRT, Darth Vorthin, Mojiro213, Badger Farmer, Pops Peach Tea, Juburin, Naka7at, Meatless Jerky, Cowie Bear, Oh Hey It's Day, Ben Mert Ursi, Stepless, Blood Pegasus, Redbee, Adagy, Jinty Starry Day, Relly Akimi 85, Mind Creeper, Novo Canis, Access Most Areas, General Sweet Pants, BYGL, Orabine, Keo Popov, Standing on Cactus, Saturnbot, Strong Arm Susan, Coffee Crafts, Sir Ripoff Maple, Joint Kites Force, Veterinarian, Burning Hate, Bonsai Stamps, Neko Andromeda, Tragic Pasta, Poke Schwab, Fifth Alice, 7 Miller Light, Destiny Wulan, Playing That Tune, Ultimate Wager, Duality 4Y, Kelter Milk, I've definitely butchered that name, Bubby352, Blue Pancakes, free amazing looking Chinese, what are they called? Calligraphy characters? I don't know what to call them. They look amazing. Thank you. Lighting Aussie, Iaron, and Asia Carlos 6. Y'all been gifted subs. Be sure to say thanks in the chat. Goodness me. Winter Willows, thank you so much for your generosity. Amazing to see so many gifted subs coming in. We got Farangotu with the Prime, SC, JDG here for 20 months, Oblex for 111, and Eva Pilot for 5 months. Thank you ever so much for your support, peeps. Truly, truly wonderful. Darking Moon says, hey Xisuma, what's your opinion on system, multiple people in a body, introjects? Basically people based off of people already existing. As an example, how would you react if you would meet a system and they had a person in their system, which is basically your Hermitcraft character? Hope you don't mind that kind of question. I'm not sure I really understand it. System introjects? I don't know what that means. Are we talking about a person or a system as in a computer? Like, is this like an AI question or something I really don't understand? He's talking about DID, dissociative identity disorder. Well, you know, I'm massively ignorant to what that is and what it means. So I don't really have a strong opinion on it other than, you know, I hope there's help that person can get, and, you know, just wish them the best, really. I don't fully understand what it is or what the question is, really. Multiple personality disorder, right. Yeah, I mean, it's something, like, hard for me to have much of an opinion on because it's not something I've really looked into, I guess. People like to fake it for attention, says Coffee Crafts. I mean, that, in my opinion, is like a really unhelpful take because, I mean, where does that get us, right? We need to take people seriously. Like, mental disorders exist. and just assuming that people are faking it for attention is not something exactly you can prove, so it doesn't seem helpful to say something like that. I mean, it worries me when people say that about suicide or people self-harming, for example, because I mean, like when people self-harm and then go somewhere and talk about it, like that can be a cry for help. Like that can be a genuine problem, and that their way of expressing or dealing with it in some manner or another. Like, you should always take people seriously. To be dismissive is dangerous, in my opinion, in that kind of context. So yeah, you know, I've been to places online where I've seen, you know, people say, you know, I'm feeling this way or that way, and someone else will say, you're just looking for attention, and it's like, yeah, maybe they are because they feel that way, right? I think you've got to take serious things like that at face value, take them very seriously. You'd hate to be the person that said, oh, you're just looking for attention, and then it turns out, dang, you know, the next day they're no longer with us or something, right? So always take it seriously. DID is an extremely complex disorder. Let's just be respectful. We might have systems in chat. Alright, so there might be some people that suffer from it as well. Yeah, that's like why I said, you know, I don't have nothing but good wishes for someone if they're struggling with something mental health related. I just don't really know anything about it to say much more than that. Monkey Master, thank you for the Prime. Rock Arm B, thank you for the Prime. And Tenenbaum 20, thank you for 10 months of support with the Amazon Prime. Appreciate it. What is normal and what isn't, says Black Rots. Well, there you go, that great question. For me, I often look at things and just think, like, an idea of normality is a bit strange because everyone's different in one way or another. And I think of personality as being much more of a spectrum. You know, we're all placed somewhere within it, and, you know, at certain points we decide to put down boundaries or define what we think is normal or not. Yeah, everyone's experience is different. People are shy to say they need help. For those who need help, there are people who can help and care for you, says Viking. Leader Red. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I don't know if this is the place to say speak up, like here specifically, but no, like, if you can find the courage to speak up, you always should. Unfortunately, you may speak up in a place where not much support is given, but there are people out there that will support you. And everyone deserves that support if they're going through something. Chow No Maru, thank you for 12 months. Bad Crab, thank you for the Prime as well. 12 months, a whole year right there. Check, are you drinking tea? Not today, I've had trouble with my stomach. I might have tea a little later. I think I'm just going to chill out for the rest of the day. Oh no, wait, I've got that work to do. Immediately my brain's like, no you don't, you've got something important to do. Yeah. I was going to chill out, jeez. I might be able to find like 30 minutes at the end of the day today. But yeah, I've got some important stuff that needs to get cracked on with. Even in psychology, defining normal and abnormal represents a lot of challenges, says Shinny. I can understand that, yeah. Try ginger tea, X. It helps with the inflammation. I don't have any ginger tea. I'm not sure if I've got inflammation. Just getting, like, acid reflexes a lot. PSA, just giving someone a number for a hotline isn't help either, says Lucro. I don't know if I agree with that. That's doing something, that's trying to help. Look, some people are going to be uncomfortable and not know what to say and not be able to talk about it or not have experience. And, like, you know, the gesture of giving someone a hotline number to call is helpful, I believe. That's, you know, it's better than doing nothing, surely. And, like, those hotlines exist for a reason, right? Is to have people who need to call them. So, I kind of disagree with you there. I think, you know, if you don't feel comfortable or not qualified to talk about that stuff, that's completely fine. And, like, having the ability to share a hotline number to someone who is, you know, capable of doing that is a great thing. Echo Wolf says it's Mental Health Awareness Month in the US, and mental health awareness week in the UK next week. Yeah, there's been some huge pushes to bring like mental health conversation around it, the awareness of it forwards in recent years, and I think it's a great thing, really. What do you think of the Roe versus Wade thing being overturned, says Short Insomniac? I haven't, I've seen wind of it and I've just been like, I'm not absorbing that kind of information right now. Like, whatever the big new political news story is or whatever, I'm kind of trying to detox from it. Because I went on Reddit today and it was just all over Reddit and I just didn't feel like it was a place to learn anything about that. If you want an out for another topic, what do you think of Doc M's shadow poppy technology? I don't actually understand what it is because I hadn't had the time to like watch his videos. I assumed it's the same as the thing last season, right? But I don't know quite what's going on there. And now you have deleted Reddit. Yeah, it's gone now. I won't be browsing it unless I reinstall the app, which I think the fact that I have to reinstall it is a reminder to use different apps for information, so that probably won't be happening. If you fall out of the tree and your arms break, you go to the doctor. I will say that's a normal break and it doesn't mean... What? It doesn't need to be fixed? I don't know quite what you're saying there. We got more messages from chat from Curls. Calamity says, I really appreciate how openly you admit to ignorance. It's refreshing to see amidst a world where ignorance is commonly vilified or stigmatized. Yeah, I strongly believe in putting ignorance forth because as I've learned through understanding how science works and then seeing like how much of the world I thought I knew worked is vastly more complex than I realized. Like, we all operate with knowledge that is mostly ignorance, right? And then like the little bits of information we learn are just such a small part of the picture. And so I think it's really important to actually like bring more light to ignorance, because especially when like we're not the people that know what we're talking about. There's been so much of that. What was the latest one I saw online? Okay, here's another place where the sort of news I shouldn't look at filters through to me. It's on Twitter, and I use Twitter for communicating with all of y'all and following the Minecraft developers. And when I open up a tweet, there's always something on the side, right? And the latest thing here in the UK was like Matt Letitia, a footballer, talking about some sort of COVID-related stuff and conspiracy and all this and all that. And at the end of the day, the guy is not an immunologist or a virologist, and so if someone like him was to just realise how little he actually knew about this stuff, how much he doesn't know because he hasn't studied it, it isn't his life's work, then we could perhaps listen to the people that do know what they're talking about, you know? Right. Next on the list, Netherby says, what's your advice on dealing with anxiety? I've heard a lot of people talk about how you just shouldn't listen to it, but when you're in the mindset, it's just hard to disregard it. I could talk about this at length, my dude, and I have done in the past. I'll try and boil down some ideas for you. The ones that I found to perhaps be the most important. One of them is to learn to sit with the anxiety, which sounds really strange, right? But if you're in a relatively safe environment and you've got some anxious feelings coming along, maybe just take the time to sit and just sit with those feelings. And the reason I say that is because your feelings are not you. They're things happening inside of you, but like, if you could choose not to feel anxious, you probably would. And taking the time to sit with the feeling might just be a reminder that the feeling is temporary, that it can pass. It might also shine a little bit of light on how it's not relative to your situation, especially if you're just sitting there. I mean, you know, it's not like you're being chased by a tiger through the woods. Now, also with that, I would say that comes from the perspective that I have of going through cognitive behavioral therapy, which is to look at your own mind from more of a neurological perspective and understand that your thoughts are neurological pathways firing over and over again. So when you get into a habit of bad thought, you're creating connections of thought in your mind, and the more they fire off, the stronger they become and the more recurring they come. And it's a hard thing to do at first. It's a hard thing to get your head around this idea that you know, that they are just used to firing off and therefore will fire off more. But you know, if you can start to get your head around it, you can start to see how there are like patterns that emerge, and oh, I think this thing over and over again, I say these bad things to myself, and you want to kind of like learn to break the cycle a little bit. It can be very tough in the beginning. It's kind of slow in the beginning, and then further on it can hasten up and even sort of work in a positive direction where you like teach yourself to bring the smarter ideas, the more helpful thoughts to the forefront of your mind more often. But yeah, when you look at it through that kind of lens, you might just see that you know, your thoughts are not really you, and that they're more of the problem. And if you can start to address them, if you can start to take that moment to be like, I'm thinking that thing again, right, I need to like get away from those thoughts. Oh, I'm sorry, kitty. They can become less common, and as they become less common, they're less powerful, you know. Now that's kind of how I managed to deal with it. Right, so we got a noise in the air. Donation here from the Seb 1997, saying, how does the process for new members work? Do they contact you or vice versa? Is there a big round table discussion whether to take them in? Thank you for the donation, my dude. Greatly appreciated. I've discussed this one many times in the past. You know, it's a group process. It's something where we all talk about it and then agree on it. No one exactly contacts us and asks to join. It's not the kind of way it works. It's just whenever we feel like we know someone, or the time comes where we're like, oh, maybe, you know, it'd be nice to add some new people into the group, then it's just a group discussion and we look for a group consensus. Is essentially how it works. Azarka78, thank you for 54 months, and Muggle Wiz, thank you for using the Prime on me, greatly appreciated. Are you making a black cat farm? I'm not, but I learned that you can make one, because if you eliminate all the passive mobs elsewhere in the world, you can actually have them farmed here over and over again. C. Grifter says, I really appreciate X's perspective. He doesn't accept that a public presence is foundation for having answers. Is very thoughtful when he discusses topics and incredibly respectful. So, if you read this, X, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, my dude. Doesn't accept that a public presence is foundation for having answers. Right. I think you're saying like just because you're visible doesn't mean. I'm actually not entirely sure what you meant by that one particular line, but yeah, I appreciate it. Will Hermitcraft become too crowded at some point, says Gerhard? Well, if you look at how little we have recruited in recent years, I think your question has sort of got an answer already. Do you ever worry about how big the server is growing, and are you excited about it, says Coffee Crafts? Depends what you mean by big, really. I can interpret that in a variety of different ways. If you mean big by world size, I've had to deal with some world size issues recently that I've managed to fix, but yeah. I love how open and communicative the hermits are. You guys have been an inspiration for me to be more direct with people and talk things out. That's great. That's great. Yeah, you should be direct and talk things out, but always with like good intent. You know, that's what's really important. Like, if I've learned something about communicating in groups, working with other people from my time here on YouTube, is that just being transparent and open is really, really helpful. It's okay for like everyone's intent and incentives to not align. It's okay for like, you know, people that you're working with to think something different, right? Like, because it's very easy to think in terms of like, I want this thing to happen. I want something to go this way. This is what I picture. I'm trying to do this. And the world doesn't work like that. There's lots of... Everyone's got their own ideas. They want to do different things. And if you learn to accept that and just communicate with some open transparency, you realize it's okay when someone goes, hey, that thing we were going to do, not really for me. I don't want to do that. And then you can be like, okay, cool. Well, I know that now. Let's move on. Where do we go from here? Kitty cat, you're going to get in trouble. Yeah, I just told you you're going to get in trouble. Yeah. That's right, you run away. You let X mine the blocks, gosh. Yeah, and so open, transparent communication has been, you know, really helpful. Like, we mentioned Clash of the Creators earlier. I've had really great communication with them. Like, for them, it hasn't quite worked out the way they wanted it to, and that's absolutely fine. Like, we always had, like, this open dialogue of, like, here's what we're trying to do. Does this work for you? Does it work for me? And you know, when things don't work out, it doesn't then have to become a disagreement or an argument. You just kind of accept, hey, that's cool, that's fine. Everyone's doing their thing, and we want to find where what we're doing works for one another, and if it doesn't, that's okay. It's a really, really helpful way to work with other people, that. Public presence is foundation for answers, like you were getting to. I have encountered some public personalities who present opinions as absolutes, seemingly as if being public is enough. I get what you mean. So, like, when I brought up the Matt Letitia thing, I mean, I don't know if that's the way he thinks about it. Like, hey, I've got this, you know, audience, I've got this voice, I'm going to put my thoughts out there. But with the amount of, you know, sort of announcing of opinions that there is online, it definitely feels like there is a case to say that there is a lot of, like, I have a platform, here's my opinion. And maybe not enough respect for, do I actually know what I'm talking about? Lupus Canis, thank you for 16 months, and Black Steel 53, thank you for 11 months, greatly appreciated. 1 month to a whole year, yeah. That's wonderful, dude. Thank you for sticking around. Somebody 2004 says, not trying to be weird, X, but with COVID in high school, I had entered a very sedentary lifestyle, got around your streams recently, and your stories of exercise finally made me start. Success! That's me adding in that little success bit. 3 weeks of unbroken routine now. Hated every second of it in the start, but feel better of the 30 minutes of sweating is too good. Awesome, awesome. I'm glad you've been convinced, because it pays off, the exercise. So here's the little analogy that I love. I love this analogy. It's alright, you know, there's a slice of cake. You eat the cake, yummy, scrumptious. Ah, oh, so good. Instant gratification. But all those calories, oh. Not to demonize the fact that, you know, like, hey, you could eat like a big bit of cake one day, and if that were the only thing you ate, you know, you might lose, air quotes, lose weight, you know, calorie deficit, whatever. Like, but you know what I'm getting at, right? You can't eat cake every day. Every day it's gonna feel instant gratification, all that sweet sugary taste. But then eventually, you know, the pounds are gonna come on the belly, and so later down the line you pay the bill in another way. With exercise, you pay the bill up front. You know, that workout don't feel great. That was hard work. Your body's out of shape, and you don't get the reward until later down the line, right? And when you see it that way around, if you can do it with exercise, there's other things in life as well where it's like, if I put in the work now, there's rewards down the line. You know, planning for the future and things like that. But yeah, yeah, I'm glad you're doing the exercise. That's awesome. And you do get to a point where the exercise is like eating the cake. It might take you years, but it can get to the point where you enjoy all of the exercise as you do it, which is kind of like where I'm at. It's always tough. It's always difficult. You're always challenging yourself, but you just know, like, at that point that, like, hey, this is all good for my body. This is all, like, improvement and physical health and fitness, and I need all of that. I wish I could eat cake every day, says Elmo. I mean, yeah, like, I used to have this mindset like that, right? Like, I was so strange about food for the longest time that I wouldn't, like, touch dessert and takeaway and whatnot. And And at some point, I guess I just kind of realised that, you know, it doesn't have to be 100% the healthiest thing possible. You can indulge a little bit here and there, but like that's like a scale, like a sliding scale, and it can swing the other way. It's like I've been through a few like somewhat binge eating type ways of interacting with food, you know, having a massive curry and a Halo top after, and then spending like the next week drooling over the next one. And I'm just like, that's not really like the right way to do food, right? For me, I've like totally cut out cake. I'm just over it. I just don't have dessert. But you know, I want all my food to be basically some form of nutritious, decent, healthy food. But like, you can indulge a bit. It's fine. It's all right. A bit here and there is fine. But like, when it swings the other way in your head, that's what I worry about. When it's like, oh, I want to pig out and have a crazy big meal and lounge around, I'm like, that's not the right way to interact with food in my mind, right? Those thoughts aren't helpful. Talking about CBT earlier, it's kind of like that. It's like identifying the way I'm thinking about food and then trying to replace it with better ideas, right? So now I don't really ever overeat. Even on the days when I have a massive curry, it's like I don't really eat anything else until I have that, and I'm doing that less often, and yeah, like I'm not doing any binge pigging out type stuff. It's like trying to just maintain that healthy relationship with the food of like, don't obsess over it, you know, because everyone would love to you'd love to sit there and be able to eat pizza and ice cream, right, infinitely and have no consequences. But there is consequences to that, so like thinking about food in that way therefore is probably not helpful. And so like trying to stop those thoughts and replace them with the better ones, like, you know, just looking forward to a good decent sized meal that's healthy, cooked, enjoy the cooking. That's the stuff I should be thinking about. So I have to do that every day. Gotta you know, cook myself a meal at some point, haven't I? I track all my calories basically. It works really well for me. It lets me eat what I want basically, says Two Ducks. Yeah, that's how calorie counting works for me. It's for me it's like a form of freedom. I find that discipline in general is very freeing because it's about making plans beforehand or putting in rules that you adhere to, because then there are end results that you enjoy later on. So by sticking to my calorie counting, it just means I get to pick what I want to eat each day, and I don't have to worry then later on if I'm eating too much or not. I know I've figured this stuff out, you know. Doesn't work for everyone, and it can, we've talked about this before, it can definitely be unhelpful for some people, but I consider the calorie counting stuff a tool, and it's how you use the tool. It's important. I feel like I use mine in a good way. Hex, just wanted to say, I don't always agree with a lot of your opinions, but I still enjoy hearing them to learn more. What's your opinion on today's culture being very divided and heated over certain topics and opinions? Says Wizard Crafters. Yeah, I've been thinking about this a little bit lately, like, I've heard that being said since for as long as I can remember, and it's kind of like when I was younger and I used to think that we were like living in the worst time ever and everything was terrible and society was going to fall apart and whatnot. And then as I learned more and more about history, I would look back and go, actually, there's a lot of like really good things that happened today that we never had in the past. And then you learn about it statistically and you start to understand, oh wow, like, you know, poverty's lower than it's ever been. It's still a problem, obviously. There's many problems that we have, but like numbers like crime and all these other things, they're like always going down, like steadily and rockily over time. We've had a bit of a wobble post-pandemic. But what I'm thinking lately is there's just all this constant attention on the so-called polarization, right? And I try and like look a bit more internally now and think like, I don't have to see people polarized, right? People who have different opinions to me are also still people that have real human values and stuff. Like sometimes we just overlook the basics, like how people can be nice to each other, hold open a door, greet each other in the morning, say hello, and yet these big world topic things can be like really divisive and make us think, oh, we're so different and whatnot. Because like how many people we got watching? 2,100 people watching. If we lined us all up and put our political views into camps, we'd probably find there's some form of like left and right and polarization, right? And then if we were like, okay, hot topic, abortion, then we could probably all burst out into flames arguing and whatnot. But before that, there was a bunch of civility where we were all just hanging out together, you know, this Minecraft stream, and all was good. And I just feel like so much of this stuff is just divisive in nature, and that maybe we're not like paying enough attention sometimes to like how much we're getting along as well, you know. So I more and more I like this idea of just trying to see the best in people, and like when someone disagrees, don't get sucked into that world of like, oh, you know, this political party, they're so terrible, all of that lot, they're the problem. It just feels like that way of thinking is a trap, you know. That's kind of the way I can describe it. It just feels like it's a trap. Right, I want that to be my thumbnail. Let's take the helmet off. Let's be polite here. Hang on, let's be polite, girl. Maybe a bit of zoomage. Zoomage is kind of cool, isn't it? Because it makes me bigger in the thumbnail. Oh, it's the thumbnail time. Oh, I'm so glad I'm here for the thumbnail. Jeez. Right, there we go. That looks pretty good, that one. Looks pretty good, but peeps, I've got to wrap it up because, you know, that's my 2 hours. I like to put in 2 hours for a stream. And I guess I'll be streaming again. I don't know when, actually. It might be Saturday or... No, it won't be Saturday or Friday. It might be Sunday, the next one. Gosh. Been unable to, like, get a proper stream schedule together, it feels like. I need to pick out someone to raid. Oh, Mr. Ren Diggity Dog is streaming. I believe on Hermitcraft. So I'll send you over there. How about that? No, Ren is not streaming. Well, False is streaming. Hopefully on Hermitcraft. God. Right, we're at the end of the stream. Massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. I appreciate all your support. Thank you for the gifted subs. Thank you to my patrons, my mods. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you again soon. Feel free to hit the follow button and then hit the raid button. That's it, peeps. Take care. Bye-bye.